Hello, hello. Welcome to day 3 of Izzo trying to social distance herself. Yesterday did not go well. I did go out into public. It was terrifying. I sterilized everything afterwards. And I did invite some friends over, which was bad. Um, yes, Squirrel was terrified. I invited over Miss Piedmont and Miss Hughes. But then we sterilized everything when they left. So Squirrel and I should still be safe. On to geometry. So, good news, we were headed into our advanced proofs unit. So you will not need your calculators for this unit at all. Yes, packets would help, Squirrel. I know you missed the basic proofs unit. I'm going to teach you. She's staring at me like I'm crazy. I might be going crazy. It's okay. So we're going to take a look at the proofs review packet, the basic proofs review packet. You should have taken this home since it was homework. We did some of these in class. For those of you who did not take it home, I will provide a link to it. For those of you who do not have a printer, that is perfectly okay. You can just get a nice blank sheet of paper and a pen or pencil and follow along. I want to do question number 3. We did question number 4 in class. I want to take a look at question number 3. Let's do our statement and reason. First thing that we have to do, Squirrel, is our givens. Now, we have 3 givens here, so we're going to do AB equals DE. As soon as we write down our givens, we have to draw that in the picture. So AB is over here, and DE is over here, and that's a given. Next thing that we have to do is BC equals EF. So BC equals EF. Yeah, those do not look right, do they, Squirrel? But we always go with the picture is not always to scale. I know it's painful that the picture is not always to scale, but we have to deal with it. So BC equals EF, which means this is not just a quick little rotation. Looks like it was a reflection and something else. It was crazy. So that's given. And then AC equals DF. AC equals DF. Notice for the third pair of sides, I drew 3 lines. Yeah, we always have to do that, Squirrel. All right, triangle ABC congruent to triangle DEF by side, side, side. So now that we've done 3 and 4, make sure that you have 1 and 2 done. Let's go on to 5, 6, 7, 8. We did 6 in class. 6, we talked about bisecting an angle. So this was all about bisecting an angle and splitting that angle into 2 equal pieces. If you look right here, we've got that angle into 2 equal pieces. If you look at the next one at 7, we are not bisecting an angle, we are bisecting a side. So be very careful on that one. I'm going to do a statement reason chart again. First given is measure angle ABC equals measure angle BCD. That's a given. ABC, so we're at B, we're going towards A and C. So that would be that right there. And measure angle BCD, so C going towards B and D. So we've got those angles right there. Next one. AD bisects BC. Given. Now, because we have the word bisects, the next thing we have to do is definition of bisects. That's very, very important. Make sure you've got definition of bisects. Now, we are bisecting BC here. So BC is this line right here. Bisecting it. Bisect means to cut into two equal pieces. So if we bisect BC, what does that mean? Bisecting BC means that we now have two equal pieces. We've got CE and we've got EB. So that's the definition of bisects. Okay. So let's take a look at our steps. If you remember, a long, long time ago, we started talking about steps for proofs. First step is, of course, the givens. Second step, if we have a vocabulary, we need to do definition of vocabulary. Step 3. Once we have done all of the givens and the definition of the givens, we have two different things we can look out for. We can either do vertical angles or reflexive sides. In order to do that, we're going to actually have to figure out which of these two triangles we're looking at. So let's take a look at AEB. AEB is going to be this top triangle right here. And the next one is DEC. So DEC is this bottom triangle right there. Now, if they were right next to each other, that would be a reflexive side. They're across from each other. Since they're across from each other, that means that we get to look at vertical angles. Vertical angles at E. Now, be very careful when you say vertical angles at E because there are 4 different angles at E. And not all 4 of those angles are congruent to each other. So we have to say measure angle AEB equals measure angle CED. And that would be vertical angles are congruent. Okay. So then we can end it with triangle AEB congruent to triangle DEC by angle side angle. Now notice it is not angle angle side. It's not angle angle side because the side here is trapped between my two angles. Because the side is trapped between my two angles, that means that it's angle side angle. Questions on how we bisect a side and how that looks in a proof? Oh, that's right. You can't answer. Well, at least you can message me if you have questions. I know, Squirrel, it's not fair. Are you going to ask the questions for them? She has too many questions at this point. I'm ignoring her. Squirrel, why don't you go to your locker? She doesn't have a locker. Okay, let's do statement reason chart. And we've got prove ADC, so ADC, and EDB, so EDB. Those two triangles are congruent. And we only have one given. This is going to be great. Lost it. We're good. Okay. One given. D is the midpoint of AE and of CB. That's my given. Midpoint of AE means we are taking AE and we are going to slice it into 2 pieces. Midpoint means that it's in the middle, so it's 2 equal sides. So we're going to do some definition of midpoint. Because we've got that midpoint in there, we need to do definition of midpoint. And the definition of midpoint is that it takes one side, one full side, and it splits it in half to AD and DE. Now, if you notice, it says that it's the midpoint of AE and of CB. So we have a second definition of midpoint right here. Because it is the midpoint of AE and the midpoint of CB. They could have written it, D is the midpoint of AE, comma, D is the midpoint of CB. But instead of doing that and notice and showing off that we have two givens, they decided to write it as one given just to be annoying. So we're going to do CB is now also going to be cut into two equal pieces by D, because D is the middle point of it. So CB became CD and DB. Beautiful. Okay, so we're done with the given and the definitions of the given. We've got triangles, and the triangles are across from each other, so we're going to have another set of vertical angles here. So, good grief, squirrel. Squirrel just attacked me. We're okay. No, I am okay. Okay, measure angle ADC equals measure angle BDE. And those are vertical angles. At that point, we can finish it up and say triangle ADC is congruent to triangle EDB by side angle side. All right, so I've done 3 of them on this page. We've done 2 different bisects, and we've done a midpoint. Notice I've left one for you to do. That would be the perpendicular one. Make sure you figure out how to do perpendicular. Perpendicular means 2 right angles are somewhere. So you have to figure out where the right angles are. All right. Now we've got 9, 10, 11, and 12. I did number 10 in class. We talked about corresponding angles, which was great and exciting. Number 9, if you notice, both of the triangles are outside of the parallel line. So we'll be looking at alternate exterior angles there. And then for 11 and 12, you should be looking at alternate interior angles. Now, I want to take a quick look at question number 12, because there are, once again, quite a few different triangles here. I'm looking at ADC, so ADC, that's this triangle over here, and DAB. DAB is this triangle up here. Okay. First thing that we do, givens. AC parallel to BD, given. AC is right here. BD is right there. Now, unlike the last page, you can't just say definition of parallel. You have to say parallel lines form congruent something on the transversal. Okay. So we've got our parallel lines, we've marked them, we've extended them. I need to find a transversal. If I look at this as the transversal, that's not going to go well. It's not going to go well because it's only on the pink triangle. Yeah, I want something on both the pink triangle and the blue triangle. So, this splits the triangles into separate triangles. I do not want to go splitting triangles because that would mean we'd have to add angles or add set, and we don't want to do that. No. That's the next page. The next page is all about adding. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this transversal right here, AD. AD goes right along the triangles, so it touches both the blue and the pink triangle, and it does not split the triangles. If we notice, both triangles are inside the parallel lines. Because both triangles are inside the parallel lines, we're going to call them alternate interior angles. Remember, when you're looking for the angles, I have highlighted the lines in orange. Because I've highlighted the lines in orange, we have to go from orange to orange. This is not orange to orange. This is orange to orange. This is not orange to orange right here. That's not orange to orange right there because we've got orange on this side, but not on this side. This is going to be an orange to an orange. Notice it looks green, but it's not. This is orange. So my angles are going to be at A, going towards C and E. So measure angle CAE and measure angle at D, BDE. Don't worry, squirrel. I know it's very complicated. You need to stop calling out. Okay. Next given. Our next given is AC equals BD. So AC equals BD, given. Okay, we've got a pair of angles and a pair of sides. Yes, so we're almost there, squirrel. What we have to do now is we have to figure out something else. If you notice, we're done with our givens, which means we have two options. Squirrel, do you remember what the two options are? I just went over them. Now she's silent. Silly squirrel. The two options are vertical angles and reflexive. Do we have them across from each other or do we have them touching? In this case, they're touching. They are right next to each other and they are touching at AD. So the AD side in the pink triangle, if we were to draw out the pink triangle, this AD side is the exact same as the AD side in the blue triangle. So AD is the same as AD reflexive. And that will end us with triangle ADC is congruent to triangle DAB by side angle side. All right. Your mission for homework was to get through all of questions 1 through 12. We've gone over some extra ones. I want you to go back, make sure that you are good on questions 1 through 12, and then I want you to start on questions, the rest of the questions, so 13 through 20. If we take a look at question number 13 through 16, we are doing either angle or side addition. I've done 16 for you. If we take a look at what we've done for 16, we had a whole bunch of angles up top that we had to merge to make that beautiful angle in each of our triangles. For 17 through 20, you're going to have to do the linear pair substitution, substitution, subtraction. I'm going to give you angles that are not in the triangles, and you're going to have to get the angles in the triangles in order to prove the triangles are congruent. That is your mission for tomorrow. If you have any questions or issues, please message me on Edmodo, and we will continue. And I need to talk to Squirrel about classroom etiquette. Thank you very much for this wonderful day 3 of social distancing.